Hello, all C rank recruits. Welcome to the World Trigger Podcast. I'm the talented elite agent Matt M, and with me is A rank agent Renji. Renji, how's it going?
Well, let's just say this. If you want to get triggered, then this is the podcast to come to. Because it's about, you better just turn your trigger on anyway. Right from the start. Go.
That is so true. Well, this is first episode here is just going to be more general coverage on how we got into the series and talking about the first episodes of the series overall once we get into it, our episodes of our own recording.
Right.
Alright, so let's see here. We'll start with our stories on how we got into the series. Renji, why don't you go first? Because I know you said you had a very interesting story about this.
Yes, indeed. See, whenever I was mentioning getting triggered, whenever I first started World Trigger, around when it came out, actually, it was not even suggested to me. I was scrolling down, in Kiss Anime. I know people are going to cringe about that because, they don't like people watching Kiss Anime. But anyhow, I was just going through Kiss Anime looking for something to watch because I got tired of, watching One Punch Man. That hurt my soul. And I watched World Trigger. I watched the first 4 episodes and I quit. Literally quit. I quit this anime for about 2 years because as soon as I seen the one episode with Yuma and the what they call it, the Bamster.
I don't know I feel bad because I don't know all the neighbors off the top of my head.
Hey man, I didn't even know at first either. It took me some time to learn the characters and their names because things went by. People complain about World Trigger going by so slow, but it's actually going by so fast and there's so many characters. By God, you got these agents, you got the C-rank agents, they had names and stuff, but they don't really care or mention them. And then you had their classmates, they had names. And I'm like, are these people even really important?
Clearly they're not. They haven't shown up recently, even in the manga.
That's a good point you make because you know those people that were bullying the main character, what's his name?
Osamu?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, come on. Everyone has to know Osamu. There's a fan club formed by the official letterer. Oh.
Whenever I found it, you just mentioned something. Whenever I found that out, I'm like, hold on. Pretty much everyone hates this guy. You should know this too. From the beginning, they hated him. He's like a prick. He's type of guy that sits in the back of the classroom and while everybody's trying to figure out the answer, he already has it. He knows the answer to everything. And he's just so nonchalant and quiet about it. He just literally talks with a straight face. It's really? Did you just...
He's so...
Huh?
So what you're saying is Osamu is Cyclops from X-Men.
Pretty much. But the fact is, Cyclops actually have some skill. Osamu has none.
Osamu tries so hard. He tries
That's the
so
thing.
hard.
Osamu is the tryhards in video games. Dark Souls, for instance. You know that guy who's always carrying the Karthus curved sword?
No,
And he just R1 spamming with the S stock in his offhand? That's Osamu.
Oh man, I've got it even worse. I've got almost a better introduction story for this.
Oh, and that's the and that's probably not the worst part about it. Whenever after the 2 years it took me to come back to this anime, I was watching other stuff in between, and then my mind was like, come back to it. And I watched it from the beginning. Episode 4 kind of still killed it for me, but I sat through it because everybody knows how CGI is. That it's every time somebody sees CGI on anything that's anime related and it's terrible, no, not trying to diss you, Toei. We love you, Toei. You've been there for us. But Just keep that away, please.
Oh.
Just if it's not gonna be the full thing, just keep it away. And that's pretty much most of my story of how I got into World Trigger. Is that yes, I got into World Trigger by being triggered because I was upset since the beginning. Like I expected.
Oh man.
I don't know what I really expected, to be honest. But anyhow, go on.
Okay. Well, I've got a probably a little more interesting of a story. The one of the main podcasts I listened to, the Weekly Manga Recap podcast, I heard them talking about it back when it was a Jumpstart for Shonen Jump, and they weren't they're like you. They kind of weren't exactly enthralled by it, but I was just listening in. I'm like, okay, well, no big deal. And they kept talking about Yuma's duck face and everything like that.
Oh, that freaking duck face, man! That thing is cancer.
Well, yeah, I think around chapter 20 is when they finally started getting like positive about it, and then it quickly became one of their favorite series. I wasn't ready to commit to another series. I sat through Naruto. I went from being a Naruto fan to being a Naruto hater to being a bit of a Naruto fan again because the ending kind of salvaged a lot of my problems I had with Naruto. I was a Bleach fan, then I wasn't a Bleach fan, and
Ooh.
I never recovered from not being a Bleach fan because
who can recover from that?
Exactly it was next to impossible. But the most recent rank war, I finally decided I'm like, okay, this I'm gonna start reading, just see how things go, and it kind of hooked me. It hooked me at that point by itself. Like I didn't have to listen to anybody else telling me I should read this or anything like that. Then I found the series on Hulu that I just kind of watched it through once. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm starting marathon runs of it, and I really liked it. Osamu, you call Osamu a tryhard, but he really endeared himself to me. I guess I might have seen a little bit of myself in high school as him being. I like to call myself the Rudy of my old high school team. Rudy being the poor guy that the varsity guys would beat on during practice. Not because they hate you or anything. They just, it doesn't, you're basically their punching bag for
yeah, you did it so they could feel good about themselves at the end of the day. You're like, oh, we're just going to beat up this kid so we can feel better before the game.
Not really, like, just to, like, feel good, just to kind of, like, more, like, just prep. But, yeah, I was basically that Rudy. And I knew how it was going to affect me. I'm like, I don't care at this point. I'm just going to keep getting up and keep going forward. But, yeah, that ultimately, I think that's what made me a big Osamu fan. Because I saw the I'm not giving up, I'm going to keep going mentality of him.
I'll agree with that. Like, that's one thing that keeps me. I'm actually, by the way, I was, messing around. I'm actually a big Osamu fan, too, because, man, like, he does things like nobody else does, and he gets no credit for it, no recognition. They just pretty much
throw him under the bus. It's almost the opposite, I think. That a lot of people want to give him credit, and he actually turns it down and gives the credit to the right people. Like, I know,
yes.
Yuma said, no, you need to take the credit for this. I'm not an official agent. Early on, or with Katori, where she,
oh god,
she was like all like high and mighty, like, oh, he's using this to get recognition or whatever, blah blah blah, and he turns around and goes, you need to talk to her, you need to thank her, she's the one that saved you guys, I just did the cleanup work. And I saw that look on her face the first time through, and she's like, wait, what are you doing?
And that's hard coming from her, because people like her, but I kind of don't.
I kind of understand where she's coming from. It's revealed later on. I don't want to spoil it right now. We'll kind of get to that point through this podcast naturally. But once we get to that point, I think we can handle it from there.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking maybe just kind of like as we go through this, we'll just kind of like as a general God, I know you said episode 4 was probably not going to be your favorite episode. So I'm thinking I'm thinking maybe like once a week we just kind of watch like 5 episodes at a time and just record and see how it goes through there.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure the first episode is just going to be you complaining about a lot of a lot of the setup chapters, we'll say.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna be complaining. I'm not gonna hold anything back. I'm gonna come in like here's how it's gonna work. I'm going to be like Jin. I'm going to just.
Jin is so awesome.
He's a troll. Jin is a freaking troll. Everybody knows it. He knows everything, but he's like, I'm just gonna let this happen. Oh snap! Oh, I screwed up. I let it happen, and I knew it was gonna happen. Why didn't I do anything?
Well, I think I got Jin's another good character, but I kind of want to wait, and so when we go through each episode, like let it digest it as each episode's going on, kind of have some notes and everything. Go through 5 episodes at a time. What was it, like 60, 70 episodes?
Yeah, there's like 73, I think, episodes.
Okay,
which is an odd number.
We'll push through the last chunk of episodes once we get to it. Then we can talk.
Are we gonna do filler?
I say do filler.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it.
No one's done that, have they?
I don't think I don't recall the filler. I remember this weird. I remember seeing a little bit of this weird guy with like this arm trigger thing, and this like, I think neighbor princess or something like that. But I don't know much about the filler off the top of my head. I can't recall it. So I think just kind of go through it again just will help me. Like, I don't remember the neighbor units off the top of my head very well. I only recall certain agents because of their prevalence. Like, I know Osamu, Chika, Jin, Yuma, Katori, but I can't recall, like, it's not Reiji. Who's Konami calls him Scruffy Hottie. In my mind he's Scruffy Hottie, but I don't know his actual name.
I don't remember his name either. And this is depressing.
I feel so bad, but
It does.
Hopefully we can actually get through this, and we can, like, add 5 episodes at a time. We could probably learn everybody's name naturally again. I'll probably have
please.
I'll have notes on the side just like ready to go. But I think we can get that to work. But we should probably talk about the full premise of World Trigger for those that don't know what it is.
Right.
So I've been trying to explain it to people kind of like this, as a weird version of an MMO or an esports series that people, as like League of Legends and Smite, have kind of gained in popularity. It's not like Dot Hack Sign because it still happens in the real world, but people use triggers, like you say this series triggered you, but in reality they're more like morphers from Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So where they actually will morph into an energy body with energy weapons and everything to fight these monsters. And the first episode, you kind of meet one of the alien monsters. I'm not going to say who it is just yet, even though we both know who it is. But for our listeners, I kind of want to leave it a little bit of a surprise. But once he's kind of meets up with the agent from the organization that's trying to stop all the monsters, they kind of bond and they build up everything. And once it's all taken care of, from there, they keep fighting monsters. And we learn more and more about them. Ultimately, they're like, hey, we want to go on the offensive. Let's go deal with the enemy. Well, in order to do that, they have to go through like a ranking system, like in Smite or in League of Legends, where their team has to progress from C rank, the lowest like recruit rank, to A rank. and right now they're in B rank as of right now.
Which is very surprising because their skill set really doesn't.
They're very top heavy. They're very top heavy with Yuma being their ace and kind of being way above them. Chica being the energy powerhouse, able
Battery.
to basically the cannon, blowing.
Yeah.
She'll blow up everything in her path. And Osamu being the poor, I got lucky rookie.
Your office house lab technician.
Oh God, who was I gonna? I want to call him Usopp a little bit.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. But see, Osamu can't really lie, and that's the problem.
He's no. Combat wise, he's Usopp. Personality wise, he's Kobe.
Oh God, yes, Kobe.
Yep.
Mm.
I think that's the perfect way to describe him. Oh my God.
Poor Kobe.
That works. That works. But Kobe gets.
It does.
But yeah, I think this will.
He does get better. He gets really good, but
Osamu gets better too. He gets better once he gets a little more confidence and everything. He gets better. But
right.
I think once, as we get through this, we'll probably have more to talk about it as we watch like 5 episode chunks at a time. I'm thinking for next week we go through episodes 1 through 5. See if anybody else from the official club wants to join in. I'll see if anybody else wants to join us.
I'm pretty sure after this they're gonna want to join us. They're gonna be like,
yeah.
"Wait a minute, I want to get triggered too."
Well, if anyone else comes in, we'll have them start off with how they got into the series. But yeah, like I said, next week I can definitely do it. I have 5 episodes at a time. Definitely think this is going to be a lot more fun. And I definitely want to help out this series. Even though poor Ashihara Sensei, he's not been best of health. I think in the most recent volume, he said he lost like 15 pounds just from trying to recover, not being able to draw. Hopefully, this doesn't become another Berserk or another Hunter x Hunter, where
we don't need no more Hunter x Hunters, please.
No. Berserk's worse. See, I think it's been on hiatus for like 10 years now, something like that.
Yeah, and the problem with Berserk is, like you was mentioning, they're still trying to put out content based on what they have to work with. Like,
yeah,
they're just revolving around it.
I know the anime basically cut off because it got to the most recent rank battle, and I think that at that point it had basically caught up. They didn't want to do another filler arc to kind of stall, and you can tell just by how the last episode ends. I do remember that, and I remember that was a little bit too close for comfort. But I think we can get this to work if we can just get just a little bit more time with everything. And I think once we finish the anime, if people want to hear us, we can probably talk about the manga too.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is and have it split. Like at the beginning, we'll talk about the anime, and towards like the end, we'll start talking about the manga. That way, the audience can understand like in steps, so they'll know whenever we put the video up, they can, you know how they can pick and choose which part they want to hear and stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll be better for playback.
Exactly. Well, I'm thinking of that, and I'm also thinking at the same time, if we get caught up to the manga and it's not up to, if there's no new content, we'll probably work from there. Because I think there's other things. We could cover the legendary fan fiction bi-weekly manga recap if you want to go into that too.
Let's see. I would actually like to do that. That hasn't been done yet, but it would be something different. We need to do this, but I know it's but we have to, because see, if we do this, it's gonna help out World Trigger. It might not be ethical.
Oh no! Oh. You are in for a treat. You are in for a treat. We can cover some different fan fictions. It's not really a problem of ethics because it will definitely help out the series. I mean, right now it's in stasis. There's not much we can do. We can send Ashihara good vibrations all we want, but until he recovers, there's not much we can do. So once we get to what we're through, we can probably get that all taken care of.
Exactly. And the funny thing is that what we were mentioning earlier, that I believe us doing this is actually setting us up to actually start the progress from whenever he's actually going to be able to start the new chapters again. Like, something is just telling me that as we're doing this, like, chapters, because this is probably going to take maybe like a 2 or 3 month project, and that's going to give us a lot of time in between, since we're doing 5 episodes each week.
Right, except for maybe in 2 weeks, because I'm going to be going on a trip. I'm going to be visiting some family of mine, so I'm not going to be available to record. I mean, I probably could record and just drag my friends that are with me into this. Just like, okay, so this is the series, and you guys have to watch it. Watch one episode, just one episode, and
one episode, and make it what we should call it, the World Trigger Challenge. Like, can you make it through the first episode of World Trigger without being triggered?
That's a challenge in and of itself. Although I think I do. I think I went through the first bit without being too triggered.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, you get through the first, I would say, episode 3, episode 4 just had me so triggered. Like, you probably already know, but I love the show now, though. I mean, after you get past all of that stuff, it takes a while, and people haven't realized that yet. That's why a lot of people that you suggest World Trigger to, they'll probably look at it, but it won't like entice them. They have to actually get in depth to it, and that's the thing. That's why we're doing this, is to help people get more open and in depth, and for the audiences that are, far to the right, I would say, because I would consider we're the audience that's far to the left, but we were on the right.
Yeah. I would say I'm anywhere. I was just kind of like neutral. Nothing really like pushed me to watch it, even though I would listen to Weekly Manga recap it every week. I would listen to the Shonen Jump podcast every once in a while. They would talk about it, and Annalise Chrisman, the letterer, she was so enthusiastic about it.
Yes. Oh, so you know her too, right?
Yes,
so,
I know Annalise. Yeah, she's
so nice.
She's very nice. Probably the single biggest World Trigger fan out there.
Yeah, like, I can't find, and that's the funny thing, like, before I got really deep into World Trigger, I actually discovered her first. Because I seen it.
Yeah, I feel bad because my overall manga knowledge isn't that great, but I know my anime knowledge is a little bit better.
Yeah, that's the thing.
She's like
your manga knowledge is gonna always be, a lot less, because the manga, it goes in depth, but it's not as different from them actually watching the anime.
It's very true. I know there's like in moments of instances, everything about that where you get certain things. I think my ultimate plan is, at least for this podcast, like, to increase my own knowledge of World Trigger. Maybe we can get a couple of guests on here if we can get big enough to do that.
Oh yes.
Like, I would like to see her on here. Like to see maybe we can get Roll OT, Y Ruler Time on here as well. Ultimately, just kind of hopeful things, just further down the road. But we'll see how it goes.
And yeah, we gotta
get through this stuff first.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking start there, and then we'll probably probably just like at like I said, the chunks at a time. Probably the best option.
Indeed, it is. Like that's exactly what we're gonna have to do. Chunks at a time, throughout the week.
Yeah,
Um,
it's here 5 episodes at a time. That puts us. If we start by next week, I think we could probably have 5 episodes, 10. Probably puts us into early August, maybe. Completely done with
yeah,
this year. Completely
early
done.
August.
All right, yeah.
That's
So
fine.
so we'll shoot for that. We'll cover like I think maybe like after like each season, each arc, we kind of go back and just kind of recap everything too. Just kind of see.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Hey, and another thing is, I think as we're doing this, we can kind of track it. Like when we post something, we like post the times that we're actually doing this. So when
Hmm.
we get better, like we can actually like put it to where people can actually see it happening and whatnot,
Hmm.
and they can know whenever we're coming on. Like you know how some people have it set up to where they know when their live stream is on, so
Yep.
everybody's waiting to see it.
Hey, I just figured out how to record this podcast. We'll worry about live streaming this another time.
Yeah, definitely. That's
Okay.
how should I say that? What would Yuma say? I can't really do the duck face thing, but I'm trying to
Eh,
think what would Yuma say about a work in progress. Something he's. I remember Yuma said something to Osamu that just made me die laughing.
Osamu, you tell such stupid lies. That's
Man, that's the. Remember when that one time whenever he was sitting down and they were talking and Osamu tried to act like he didn't, like Chica or anything, and I'm like, Yuma knows. Like, you was like, stop lying. You tell the stupidest lies. I would be killing.
it
Oh,
wasn't
you
to
would be killing me.
it wasn't to I don't think it was I think it was Yuma to Kitora. I think that's
Oh yeah, it was Yuma Taketora.
yeah. Because it'd be really weird if it was Osamu. Osamu, ultimately I don't think Osamu's actually interested in anyone romantically. I know. Sorry, Rolo T Senpai, but I don't think he's interested in anyone romantically at that time. But we'll see.
Damn.
I gotta go back and double watch that, but I remember seeing clips of the neighbor princess. It's coming back to my mind where she was trying to kiss him too. So I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what is going on with this? But I think we should just probably wait, and we'll probably easier to discuss everything as we've seen it in our chunks, everything as it goes along. All right.
This
Anything?
has been what would they say? This has been like not even well a trip to the neighborhood, I guess.
Trips through the neighborhood are not going to be easy. I think for now, I think we better get ready for these first 5 episodes. Meet up next week, and we'll probably have everything taken care of then.
Yes, because I've already like I have wrote something up for this like prior to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like use this as an example. I'm gonna edit some things out and
Yeah,
piece it back together more concretely.
yeah. We'll see what happens, but from now, I think it might be a good time to trigger off and just
Oh
get
damn!
ready for
Trigger.
that.
Gotta
Yep.
turn off the triggers.
Yep. All right. I think that'll.
Simulation battle mode off.
All right. So I think that will do it, Renji.
I think that's pretty much what we can accomplish for today.
All right. So next week will be the first 5 episodes, and maybe we'll have somebody else on too. I guess it's really dependent on how well this does.
Exactly. We're pulling people now. Like we are literally trying to pull people for this. Like if you are a World Trigger fan, we don't care how terrible you are with dialogue. We will work with you.
Yeah, we'll definitely get this stuff worked out. But for right now, I think it's just time for us to just kind of get ourselves situated for it, and from there we'll get everything taken care of. So Reggie, I'll see you next week. Let me know if anything changes. Till then, trigger off.
Trigger off.